I believe Eric will be joining him as well. But here's now Harris. Hello, Harris.
Hey Justin, how are you?
Hi. So what are we going to be talking about today with your presentation?
Sure. So as we close out the weekend of hacks, I thought it would be a good idea just to provide a look at some of the tools in the ecosystem that will bring your DApp all together, and you can put a bow on it, so to speak. So
Nice.
yeah, so I'm just filling in the gaps in a few libraries and technologies that we may have missed this weekend, and hopefully that really gives everyone the full picture of how to build a DApp and the respective components of that process.
Okay, and I believe Eric is here as well. So let's bring Eric in. Hello,
Wow.
Eric.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Good afternoon. So I will go ahead and leave you to further discussion here. And looks like you're sharing your screen as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some notes so we can bounce between the two of us.
Sure. Okay. I will go ahead and
In case some things are happening. Yeah, we've been live for a
do it.
minute now.
All right.
You know what? Hold on one sec. I might have to refresh, and then I'll be
You
able
can
to
share mine.
Yeah, that would be great too. Let me send you the links.
No, I got the GitHub up.
Oh, perfect. There's also the starter kit, which we can go through and do it that way.
Ooh, which one?
Well, just the code sandbox link is what I was referring to.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, so I can't quite see the screen, so I'll just follow along on my end, and we'll do it like that.
Whoa.
So there's a video on YouTube. If you type in Noah Zinmeister and Web3 React, you'll be able to find this video. And I got a lot of inspiration
Whoa.
from that particular repository and that video because I thought he did a really good job of explaining at a high level what this library is and what it can do,
Yeah.
and also how to use it. Um,
Okay. Well, let's just go through it real quick. There seems to be some pull requests on this thing. Let's check this out. Oh. Okay. Looks like
so it looks like a lot of those pull requests are in relation to adding more wallets, and one of the um, most crucial uses of Web3 React is to connect wallets to a DApp user. So
yes.
I have a diagram here. I can't really share it with you, but I'll
What's your diagram?
so at a wide level, there's four components that make up like the blockchain and like the
Yeah.
DApp ecosystem. So one of which is the blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain, which I'm not going to go into the technicalities that and that's what this whole weekend's about. Another aspect is the wallets. So any wallet you might use, it's a storage of the user's public and private key. So MetaMask, for example, is like really popular. There's some new ones like the Portis wallet. Um, there's like hardware wallets like the Trezor and the Ledger. And yeah, there's tons of wallets. You have to store your funds somewhere, so that would make up that category. Um, there's dApps, of course, which is how we're actually displaying our smart contracts to the user. Um, and then we have nodes, which actually run the computation of the Ethereum blockchain. And so basically, what this Web3 React library allows us to do is connect all of those components in a way that is accessible and easy for the user. So like we can go into
So
that.
it's like you can separate all the things that make blockchain stuff hard. So it's like, okay, I have the wallet, I have like, a node. Like for instance, we can go into and make a DApp on the Binance Smart Chain because that's a separate chain, right?
Right. I mean, especially like when you're working with blockchain technologies, the level of complexity is so high. So if you can use libraries that will condense that complexity and really like componentize it and place it in its own little niche, it's really useful to just have like a separation of concerns, and it allows you to build these type of applications faster and more effectively.
A simple, maximally extensible, dependency minimized framework for building modern Ethereum dApps.
So if you think, for example, of like some data that might be applicable to the user that would need to be stored, there is, of course, the user's account hash. So this would be a public key. Um,
Yeah.
there's also their balance of Ethereum or whatever currency they're holding. And then there's the network that they're on as well. So all of this information is something that we really need to persist across all of our levels of DApp of our DApp, and this library allows us to do that.
Yeah, another thing about this too is that there was like a big leap where we're not like shirking Web3, the actual JavaScript library. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick and see Web3
Yeah, I think that would fit
JS.
perfectly into somewhere I wanted to go after we discussed Web3 React because there's like several competing libraries that allow you to read from the blockchain.
Yeah, so we got Ethers JS and we have Web3 JS. So I got them both up on the screen here, and
Yeah.
they're comparable.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think currently our team has opted for Ethers JS, just
Voila.
given that I think it's like written very well, and I haven't found a lot of bugs associated with it. But yeah, really, what these libraries allow us to do is communicate with the blockchain from our front end. So in the same way that the wallets, the blockchain, and the nodes have to communicate with each other. And that's something that we'll be going over specifically with the Web3 React library. Um, the DApp and the actual blockchain data must communicate with each other. And so using these two libraries or either or really allows you to prune all the data from the blockchain that you would need in your DApp and make that visible to the user.
Yes, sir. So another thing that I thought about Ethers.js that was super cool is that we don't have to have any kind of interaction with the user in order to get information from MetaMask or whatever, like Cloud Connect or Wallet Connect. You can just like start because what would it was like a kind of like like a friction was Web3. You would have to be like, okay, yes, I would like to join the site, which is something that you want to do. You want to have that signature, but like on the front page, I think if you can recall, we have a Zap front end, right? And I want to get all of our Oracle information from the blockchain before I have the user sign in. So there's no user interaction. Ethers.js is tight because you can do that. So you can just ask for things instead of just having to go through this process of, oh, I signed something, now I can do it. So you can just use your provider and explore.
Yeah, so I mean, it really is a crucial part of the DApp developer stack. Um,
Whoa.
like I said, because any data that is being read or written on the blockchain, we can use this library to display that data. So it really comes in handy often. So I think we could probably open up the code sandbox if you wanted to dive into that.
Now, did you send me that on Discord?
Yeah,
DM me, bruv. Wait, you
right.
can't share your screen whatsoever?
I can, but I would have to back out of the live stream, which would only take me
Well,
a second.
yeah, why don't you do that? I'll carry.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll be the carry. Goodbye. Now, Terrace is gone. We're going to talk a little bit about ethers. I made this switch. So you can see that there's the same type of methods. Subscribe, actually using the accounts, contract, personal, using the ENS service. What made me do the switch was like not just making it easier, but its interaction with TypeScript. It's tight. And you can see that they have like a really rich signers and wallet class. So here's the signer class. So this is like the bread and butter. I think I spoke about this earlier when I was on stream early with Adam. We have connect, get address, the signer, get balance, whatever the chain ID is, and this is something for everyone to really understand is that when you're signing a message or really doing anything on top of like this cryptographic network, that you have messages that are signed. So no matter what we're trying to do, we are signing our private and our public key to make a transaction to happen. Isn't that correct, Harris?
Yes, sir. And I have my
Back.
I'm back, and I have my screen sharing, so I should be able to go through this smoothly.
Hey, Jamie, do we have a pull it up?
Thank you, Jamie.
Whoa.
Okay. So I'm gonna
Whoa.
look back around to the Web3 React side of things.
Can you just do a little for everybody, including me, just zoom in?
Yes, absolutely. That,
one more.
Oop.
Oh, that's too much. Oh no. Okay.
Right now.
That's good. That's great.
Okay, great. So, and I'm just going to show you guys the diagram that I was referring to before to just inform this a little bit. So we have, we have four basically categories here. We have the wallets, which correspond to the connectors in the Web3 React library, which we will go over. And then we have nodes, which obviously Infura is a popular node, so you can use their API keys in order to connect right to the blockchain. And Etherscan has nodes, and really you find nodes everywhere. They're ubiquitous.
Yeah, because like what we're doing, like earlier, we did a hard hat tutorial, and like Ganache, it can be your private blockchain. So if you didn't want to go out into the outside world and you want to test locally, you would change out that node because then it would be served out on that port. And what happens on MetaMask or whatever you're trying to do, when you can literally point it right there towards the blockchain that you want as well.
And you'll see that between the blockchain and the nodes, as well as the wallet and the nodes, there's a JSON RPC API. And so it's basically what it does is that it will take the data from each of these respective categories, and it will process them in a readable format so that these two or that these respective categories can communicate with each other. So that is something that you guys can look up on the internet if you want to find more about that. And then, like I said, the last step between the dApps communicating with the rest of the ecosystem is to leverage Ethers.js and Web3.js, which we just discussed before this. So I'll go back out to the Web3 React. I'm just going to refresh the page so we can see the compiled code.
Do it.
So I think a good place to start would be this connectors file here.
Yeah.
And so basically what we have is a whole bunch of connectors. We have the injected connector, which if we look into what that is, we can find out that MetaMask, for example, uses an injected session to show Web3 data on dApps. Some of the other options available to us, like I mentioned before, are Ledger and Trezor. And then we also have the network connector and a lot of these other options as well.
Yeah, I think that was like the tagline when there's on the repo. It's like trying to display it as a minimal dependency. So when you're getting these connectors, you're getting it directly for that particular app, and you shouldn't have to.
You don't have to write the custom connection for each of these because the library basically like exposes all of them as a class that you can easily build upon. And I think that each of the code associated with these classes is like very short. So there's only like 100 lines of code associated with each one of these connectors. So it makes the the library really really easy to build and use.
Yeah, and update so people from Treasure can just update their own connector if they do so desire for the actual library to be used, and that's kind of standardization's tight. So what are we looking at on the right here?
Yeah, so if you look on the right, it looks, and I didn't intend for this to happen, but since I'm using the MetaMask wallet, it looks like it automatically connected to
See,
the connected connector. And so some of the data that is being read after this is done is the chain ID, meaning we're on the main network. Then we also have the block number that we're on, the address of our account, and then the balance as well. So this is like I said, any if you're doing any like activity on a DAPP, this is data that is going to be necessary to run your transactions. Um, so what we can do is we can deactivate um, and be connected to nothing. And then it looks like once we're connected, we can also sign messages using this right here.
that by itself is like butter.
So it looks like they set the message as a wave emoji, but we can just yeah, this is really useful. If you're trying to like sign any particular data, you can also expose something in this library that will allow you to do so. So
Here's a question.
sure.
Oh, hold on, my mic. Oh, okay. So I know you don't have Wallet Connect. Can you just try it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Whoops, I pressed the wrong one.
Whatever. So you get all these things. You don't know what Wallet Link is. Like I don't know what it is, but it's kind of taken care of for us. Escape maybe? Can you not see it?
Refresh it.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we don't have Wallet Connect, but if we do, I mean, we're still able to use it as if we did have it. So if I had this set up, we should be able to get this working pretty fast. But we would have to have that particular wallet in order to do so. I
That's
actually
pretty
have a
tight.
Trezor, so I don't
You,
have it
you,
with me, but
you have a Treasure?
I do have a Trezor, so I could try it out with that. But I don't have it within arm's reach, unfortunately. Um,
Whoa.
but yeah, hardware wallets, very cool. So just to look at some of these connectors,
Yeah, what's up? Let's go through the
hard to
tour.
read this code in this because it's so big. But so just for example, we can initiate our ejected connector, and then we could provide it with the particular chain IDs that we want to support. And like I went over before, these are just representing the different Ethereum networks that are available to us. So I know 1 is the main network, 42 is the Covin network, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of metadata associated with each one of these connectors, and obviously they'll be different across the board, given that they have different parameters that they can take. Um, but most of them we're just providing the chain ID and perhaps a URL. Um,
Yeah, and this is something if you're seeing polling intervals. There was like a really trash pattern that we were using in DApp development for a little while that we would just have to basically hit Infura every couple of seconds, and it was really bad. And this allows us to have these almost pseudo asynchronous calls. It's pretty tight.
Something that comes up a lot because, like, for example, with the MetaMask wallet, it will keep checking every so often to see whether the user has switched accounts or not. Um, so that does like come up pretty often. I think something we can just take a look at next is this hooks file.
Yes.
If you guys
Now,
don't know about hooks, they allow stateful logic in functional components in React. And you can do
whoa.
some more research into that on your own time, but it is like it's not really new at this point, but it is definitely popular in the React space more
It's
and more.
interesting that you say that because JavaScript has moved so far so fast that you could say like I would think I was working professionally on Angular for like a year, and that's just like I turn back around and React's different.
Yeah, I think there is something to say about like how quick things move in this space that like a technology that came out like less than a year ago is considered like to be like old news at this point. Um,
Well, it's just like there's better ways. I think that you can see on line 21 something that we were talking about is that the use effect hook is intentionally running on mount because basically you're getting all of the, it's called eager connect for a reason, because you want to just literally use the Web3 React hook and immediately get the state.
Yeah, exactly. And in the same vein as that, we have an unactive listener
Yeah.
to like curtail or basically to expose like any errors within a specific listener.
Yep.
So it looks like here we can just handle a connect event. So anytime a user is injected, then we'll have this console log available to us. And in the same vein as that, we can also handle whether the chain is changed, the network, the account. We have something to note here that's interesting is we have both the chain and the network. So even though these two concepts are often conflated together, they're separate in this case.
Whoa, I like that word.
There you go. And then we're also just using this global Ethereum object to connect these functions to the blockchain.
Yeah, so it's interesting right there. Line 72, that's something that I was learning about closures. Now, when you have a closure, the component is set to refresh if any of those four attributes are different: active, error, suppress, and activate. And that's something that has always been a headache with me when trying to drill down props into a component to be able to get that stateful logic, and it having to play with the lifecycle components. I mean, the components lifecycle hooks in order to get something to force to refresh, basically.
Sure.
Because I don't think people were. I don't know why the architects weren't thinking about it, but I think that this is a relatively new thing versus when everything was class based.
For sure.
And if you go all the way to the top of the file, you'll be able to see it's a functional component. Or see, yes, tight, eager connect. That's all.
So yeah, we can go into the index file to see what else we need to set the groundwork for this to be functional. We have a lot of imports here.
See some
And
narrations.
yeah,
Okay.
something that we had to do in our implementation of this is just create this enum of connector names and link them to their respective strings.
Yeah.
And then we are actually calling the particular connector on the connector names object.
Holy.
Yep, and then we have just a custom error message here. Obviously, this could be individualized to your particular app, or you could use this error message here. And then something that I'd like to note is that we have our root app component here, and we wrap it with the Web3 React provider,
which allows those hooks that we were talking about earlier to just get those values, because instead of like having the thought process where I had to do some sort of hack basically to drill information down through components, there's so many different components inside this app hierarchy that now they all can use the Web3 React hook.
It's like we're building a sandwich with this particular component as the bread. And so on any page, we'll basically have access to all of these values, and we can implement them anywhere.
Yeah, beforehand it was like some sort of like anthill of information. That's kind of the best way I thought about it. It's like all these ants are just going to carve into the dirt and then make all these little components. Instead of having those pathways, which could, like a tunnel collapse or something, everyone has access to it. So it's like you're drilling into the glass and giving the ants the information directly.
Right, for sure. It certainly makes everything more composable.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so we build out the components for each of the or the functions rather for this chain IDs, the block number, as well as the account and the balance. Um, yeah,
Here we are again with the React state. So you can see the account library and chain ID. If the chain ID changes, which it does, it ensures the refresh of referential identity of a library that doesn't change across chain IDs. Chain IDs. Yeah, so that means if the account changes, the library changes, or the chain ID changes, then it will go back and make sure that it's saying that it's true, that it's stale.
right. Yeah, and so we also have it looks like we're utilizing the use effect hook within our app component as well.
I'm gonna
Uh,
step away for 2 seconds. Be right back.
sure thing. On line 234, we have a context variable which uses Web3 React hook and takes the Web3 provider as its parameter. We also have this destructuring right here of a bunch of variables, connector library, so on, from the context objects. And so if we were to do a console.log here, we would have all of these variables and values accessible to us. So something we do here is we using the use effect hook to set an activating connector. Um, yeah, and that's basically the gist of this library. I think another thing that we can do is look at the component, and this is just really simple. I think this represents this spinner component here. Um, and yeah, I think we can move on from Web3 React now, but they do have some good documentation that you guys can look through on the GitHub. Um, if there was any aspect that you'd like to know more about. So I'm going to close this out. And I'm going to,
Cool.
yeah, I guess we could just loop back around to Ethers.js and talk about some of the functions and abilities that
Yeah,
are available to us with it.
let's
Um,
do it.
sure. So something I'm going to skip over is these connecting to Ethereum steps. Given that that Web3 React library should provide
Connect you.
functionality, yeah, for all any wallet connect.
Yeah, because it's a generic provider. Right.
And there's nothing saying that we can't use this Ethers.js provider function in order to connect. Um, but there's like lots of custom logic that has to be implemented with each particular wallet in order to make this work effectively. So it's much easier and straightforward to use a library like Web3 React in order to get all of that out of the gate. So we can query the blockchain, as I was saying before. So this can be as simple as getting the block number, which once again, that is implemented in the library that we just looked at,
Yep.
as well as the get balance, which is something else that's also implemented in the library. Something very useful, and that I find myself looking into on a daily basis is particularly this Utils library. And so we can do things like format ether um, into like a actual readable value, which is not what you get from the blockchain. And then we can actually parse strings, which is what we work with normally, and we can parse that into a big number, which is what would be used on the blockchain. So we
Okay.
can go back and forth between those two. We also can write directly to the blockchain. Um, so we'd call this send transaction function. Um, we give the parameters, so the two and the value, um, and then we're able to just parse the ether directly within our code, so we don't have to write the large number interpretation of that.
Nice. That's nice.
You can also read our contracts. Something interesting here is that we can read ENS names directly. Um, so this really saves a bunch of steps in
Oh
regarding
yeah.
to like the pruning of the contract, and then the storage of that in a variable. We can just literally input an ENS value directly into that, and then have access to that contract address.
That's so tight.
It's pretty sweet, yeah.
Especially as you're developing something and it might have a variable address.
Absolutely. And then we can create a contract from our code as well, just by providing the address, the ABI, and the provider.
Which is good to think about because, like, I think that the word contract throws some people off when you say we're going to create a new contract. I think that it's even, I feel like even the authors were kind of taken aback on saying, oh, we should have used something else because contract is kind of misleading in a sense. It's not like what we're used to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I was saying the other day, it's very similar to classes in other languages. So when we have this like new name for something that
Yeah,
represents something similar, it can definitely be like a point of confusion for sure.
for sure.
So yeah, we have some other like readable methods. We can get the name of a particular contract and its symbol. Um, we can get the balance of a certain contracts. Yeah, we can get the balance of a certain contract at a particular address. Um, yeah,
Yeah, something that I was covering in Hard Hat is that when you're listening to events, we can test for those events to be emitted. So that's what the emit syntax is for. So that you get this information when you call this. So you can see that filter dot die contract dot filters dot transfer null address my address blah blah. Um, you should, because it will do an asynchronous. It's like call on dot on die contract dot on filter from amount event. Then you can be like, oh yeah, this was the one I was looking for.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
think that one was transfer.
If you're emitting like multiple events, you can also specify the index keyword, which will allow you to filter through each of your particular emitted events.
True, true.
So it looks like these are just more methods of reading events and filtering them. Um,
Which is kind of handy to have those functional aspects directly as accessible.
oh yeah, I mean there's really few ways to do this. So you
Because a lot
really
of people give JavaScript a bad name, but they have actually like Pat. I think that people got like traumatized pre ES5.
oh yeah, I mean if you're bad mouthing JavaScript in 2020, like you must have been asleep for the past like 5, 10 years because you could do
Well,
everything
5 years,
right
10
now.
years, maybe not.
Yeah, 10 years maybe not. But
5
really,
years, definitely.
you can do AI in JavaScript. I mean, you can do really anything in JavaScript, and I think expect like in the blockchain space, JavaScript is very popular.
It's king.
Yeah,
Half of the things that I was doing inside of Hard Hat was in TypeScript, which is the superset.
exactly. So I guess just to close out for today, we went over this before, but you can also sign messages. So if you input a particular string, you just call the sign message function on Signer, and you're able to get the signed output of that particular message, which is really like integral to how lots of DApps function current.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So Eric, did you have anything any other ideas, or did you
I
wanna riff
think
on
that,
anything else before we close for today?
well, there's so many things to go into. We could go into like the JSON RPC, like that's just something that you can access without any of these technologies. But I think that you should probably come watch our streams on Wednesdays. And Harris, you're supposed to be getting a show on one of these days as well, correct?
Yeah, I think I should have a weekly show to go along with your Wednesday show. So if you enjoyed some of the stuff you saw from us during the hackathon, please tune into us on our Blockchain Center channel, and you can see what
Yeah,
new
keep it on
topics
there.
we go over on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, because we try to keep up on the bleeding edge directly on what is cool and what is useful, because like we said, the space changes so fast. We have so many, you know, incredibly intelligent people that are working on this, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I get so much from just being a part of the open source movement that it just adds value to me, and I really am super thankful, and that kind of ties in to why we're doing hackathons. We want to invite people who are smarter than us and exchange ideas immediately, and then we all rise above and have like a really interesting and cool connections and conversations that come out of hackathons. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, education is definitely like one of the most crucial parts of this space, especially since like everything is still so young. And there's new technologies that come out on a daily basis. So like Eric
Yes.
said, last month we went over staking on one of the live streams. And I know
Hmm.
there's like development libraries and news in the space and
Yep.
all of these things that just like appear out of nowhere, it seems. And yeah, one of the hardest part is really like categorizing all of that information into like a usable form. um, and so that is definitely one of the objectives with these live streams. And yeah, just getting everybody up to speed on a technical level to be able to use any new library that comes out and build dApps that will really change the future and alter the way that we use the internet.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I think the format what we're doing is I've actually gotten a couple comments about people in chat relating to like, is there any kind of like noob friendly um content? And how I respond to that has always been like, I think if you're looking for some other type of information for like for learning, I don't believe it's, trial by fire is the only way, I feel,
I
because
agree.
it doesn't matter, you know, and that's the reason why Code Sandbox has taken off. Other ones like, was it something Fetch Java, Java Dojo, whatever. There's a lot of websites that are like Code Sandbox, and that's, I feel like, a great way to learn, because then you'll be directly put in the middle of the software and it works, and other people can maintain that, because I feel like the biggest path to breaking out of the noob, I guess, or into the intermediary, is being able to envision software working together instead of being inside this hell of Medium articles that throw you from one point to the other. And even a GitHub repository's README file sometimes won't be able to illustrate that. And so when you have something like Code Sandbox, I've been seeing other websites prop up like REPL.it. That's a really cool website, and it handles the hours and days spent by early engineers to, to set up the developer environments.
Yeah, and I think that's also what makes the Remix IDE useful is that you could like um, open these browser-based environments up, write your
Mhm.
code in there, and then really get to a point where like you're running into difficulties quickly and you're getting into the meat and bones of the code. I think any engineer really knows that you really don't have like an effective collection of knowledge until you know what you don't know. So that's why it's really
Sure.
important to use like these code sandboxes and these remix IDEs so that you can like quickly get errors and bugs in your code and be able to sort through them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's managing what you have to learn first. And sometimes you just want to learn the new functional methods for strings.
Right,
And
and
you can't,
you don't wanna like use about like every concept when you're just focusing on one particular thing. Exactly.
yeah, it's just like, oh man, I have a syntax error in my package JSON. You don't even know what that is. right?
Right, for sure.
But for some reason, when we look at it all working together, at least that's how I feel like it works in my mind, is that once I see it all working together, then I have a place. Um, it's like having a meal and you have to cook it, but you've never tasted it. You know, it's like
Yeah, or
you
seen it.
figure, yeah, you like heard that this really cool sauce recipe is the best, and you should definitely learn it before going off to work at the restaurant, or something. It's just like now,
Yeah, you don't wanna serve sauce if you never made it before, that's for sure.
yeah, you don't have time to cut your teeth on it, and that's kind of the experience that you want to have.
I agree.
Hey,
Yeah, so
Justin. Hey, Justin, why don't you jump in here? I think he's yelling at us from chat.
I know it's really tough to read the chat while we're, going live, Justin.
No, I can read it. I'm looking at. I'm snooping.
For all us, one monitor folk, it's definitely,
Yeah,
it's
what's up with that? You
it's
streaming, bruv? You gotta get at least a little dinky monitor. Whoa,
Ooh,
yeah, that's good. So yeah, just like to just harp on that. It's like it's. I think another reason why I format the shows that I do and not make it geared directly towards noobs is because I feel like it's like if you had someone learning English, why would you talk to them like a baby, right?
it's true.
Like why would I talk to a baby like a baby? That's dumb.
I think something to also note is that in a lot of these resources that are available for these things, most of them are, I'm not sure what the right word is, but they're very, like, infantile, interpretations of all these things. So like you said,
Yeah.
if you go to research, tutorials and things like that, they'll always be very rudimentary, and so it's important that we provide resources, to
Yeah,
everybody in the education space that's, like, advanced and
yeah,
technical.
because I feel like it's the like I'm not gonna like the medium is the message. Like if it's all medium, it has like a certain cognitive style that doesn't translate to me as a programmer to connect the ideas the way I should have if I had something earlier. I mean, I this is like talking about like when I used to go to like the library and like get
Pull out
the
a book on, pull out
pull
a
out a book.
now.
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, I don't know the syntax or this error. I have to go look it up for like a really long time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, there's really a question of, like, effectiveness and, like, reading a programming book versus, like you said, going into the fire of
Which,
the
yeah,
language on a computer.
because you have people who are professionals or people who go to like maybe a college to study it, and then you're exposed to all these like high level workflows by um, professionals, and that barrier to entry is kind of gone away because we've started to figure out that there shouldn't be a closed barrier between you and learning something like coding because there's so much to learn. The more you obfuscate it, or the more that you try to have something different, then you really you really slow progress.
Yeah, no, and I think that's also why, to take sort of like an educative point of view is somewhat, like damaging because if you try to just like remember all of this knowledge, in like a linguistic format or like just having like read textbooks and things like that, it's going to be very tough for you to implement this knowledge technically and actually code it all out, given that there's so much there. You know,
Yeah, and I think that's why people have like that reaction to it. But when I read some because okay, so like just going back to it, we literally were just going on websites and looking at the information that was dictated to us by other engineers. So there was not actually a real tutorial to it, really. I think we're the tutorial. But that's how you'll experience most of the code when you go online. Like when you go online, you're going to be like not just like going through and slapping things together, but you won't have like a tight understanding on what the workflow or what to do next. And then we'll do the tutorial, and then you can kind of not just see me do the actual work and read the documentation left by the engineer, but then you'll see me change my windows. You'll see me like position certain things, so I don't do a million things.
As the errors arise, you tackle them as they come.
Yeah,
The thing about reading a book is, I mean, you can't run code through a book. Like, that would be really cool if it was like a Kindle and you could
that'd be
process code.
so tight. Well, that's what kind of like what are those Google Colab notebooks?
Yeah, like a Jupyter
Those are-
notebook, right?
Jupyter notebooks. Those are tight for that for that reason. So like if
But,
you're doing like
yeah, you just really can't read a book about programming and expect to be a great coder.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, there's no implementation there in the actual code.
Yeah, I don't think I would read code on a Kindle. I don't think that it would play to my inspiration. I'd be like, wow.
Yeah, I think these type of like live workshops are some of the best way to really like get started in a new technology. And yeah, I think like innovative techniques such as this are really crucial in the space. Um, as it's so it's so young and
Yeah, we're like bringing it back to like the hackathon. So hopefully we're going to use these videos to inspire others to really see what was going on. I wonder if we can get Adam on here and start looking at some of our submissions.
oh yeah, I know they were submitted during the stream, so that would be great.
Yeah, I think you were like at the very beginning of that submission. Let's look at this one Google Drive that we have here. Let's look at this. Stop sharing. Close this. Instagram.
In the chat, if you guys have any particular topics that you want to see on our weekly streams, definitely reach out and let us know.
Okay, this was John's one. So that was really cool.
Hold up. Don't share the projects just yet.
Oh, I'm
Nick-
going to. See, unless you tell me
Okay.
not to, and you
Yeah,
leave
Nick-
me up here, I'm gonna start doing stuff.
No. Justin's coming in. Don't do him yet. Nick wants to.
I think
What happens? You leave me alone. I'm gonna I'm gonna get all
Oh,
crazy.
I know.
you're
We're not
right.
leaving you alone. You're here. We're here. What's up, boys? How we doing?
What's up?
2 o'clock when we have the judging.
The judging. So wait,
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're
don't
reviewing
be
right
down there.
now.
There's 7
It's
minutes.
being reviewed right now.
Well, Daniel, we're gonna do some on stream, but Daniel
Okay.
is codifying everybody, making sure everything's good, and getting in front of Nick. They're on a call right now, and going through stuff. So just give them. We need to do
Yeah,
the DeFi.
I can be judgmental. Let's do it.
So
Yeah. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. We're gonna pull out
like
the
our-
top ones of everything that we got so far. The ones that Nick feels are headed in a good direction, or there's some the one there's one real good idea, but it didn't get all the way in. So we got to take that into account too. I guess the direction was headed in. He's got a couple things missing. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in there.
That's the nature of a hackathon as well too. So it's like you're sliding into home plate and you don't really touch home plate. It's not like this is not a do or die situation. We can just you can just push you over to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it is the thought that counts, and trying to do something new takes time, and it would be kind of insane to think that it would be any different.
Well, also, if we didn't have such a broad terms and specific challenges that we knew could be done in a lot of time frame, and it wasn't so open, that might be a different story, right?
But then you have me, who I'm like, be free, think of anything you want.
Wow.
Be creative.
So we do have, again, these are the prizes.
First prize, $1,000. Second prize, $500. Third prize, $250. 3 runners up, Nano Ledger S, blockchaincenter.com.
Yes, that is.
Hack the holidays.
Correct. Yeah. So Nick will be on at 2 p.m. For the judging and reviewing of these submissions. We'll do it online as well.
Okay.
For some of the projects, some of the top ones that were submitted, and review those. Now it looks like our 1 p.m. For DeFi, actually, what we were talking to in the very beginning, Adam.
Yeah, we
what's
shifted them
up with
around
that?
a couple times. We had to make. So here's what happened. We had to make a lot of last minute changes. We had some very interesting people come on. Obviously,
It's like, do it
Brittany.
live.
Yeah, we had Brittany. We had all these wonderful speakers, and Jamil was really lenient and everything. So problem is, I think he had some things going on today specifically, so that the time slot. If we would have given enough time in advance, I'm sure it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but I think maybe he wasn't looking or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. We can do DeFi. We know DeFi. It's fine. I just wanted to hear his perspective on it. But we can do DeFi.
Yeah, I don't think
this guy's about to do some DeFis.
We could also just try to talk about something I've been trying to talk about for a long time, which is token lists, and try to go down that rabbit hole too. Which I've say it's up to you guys entirely.
What, you want to do a stream on token lists?
I kind of want to keep pushing the ENS thing. I want to see
let's do ENS. I think we talk about it enough here with the IPFS and ENS that I think people should know about it. Maybe we can do DeFi, hop around a little bit, do that as well.
Yeah, do it live. Let's go.
Do it live. Yeah,
O'Reilly style. Okay.
If it's O'Reilly style, do I start cursing and start?
Yeah, you have to curse a lot, and
where do I live?
O'Reilly style.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good impression. Yeah. All right, so maybe we'll as far as I think this was supposed to be an intro to DeFi was the original slated topic of conversation.
Okay, we can do that right off the hip. Ready?
Yeah, we know about DeFi. I think we know.
Harris, you got it right off the hip. No scope, right there.
Yeah.
No scope and smoke pony.
Yep, that's
Share
him.
my screen again.
Everybody in chat.
Or Harris?
Everybody who's just joining in on chat, we're about to get DeFi.
DeFi?
If you want to pull up my screen, actually, I got some.
Sure. I'll go ahead and,
wait, you're not doing the sheriff one, are you?
No. We did that this morning. Oh,
you did it this morning?
I love that thing.
Oh
again,
my God.
Again,
sheriff
please,
emoji.
Wait,
yeah, we are not.
This is not
financial advice. No, this is financial appreciation. This is financial study. This is
news report.
It's also a study of art and culture because crypto has its own culture and its own art. And a lot of these sites, I think, are more art pieces than they are actually DeFi.
Like in the top, just like a little
we didn't look at Chad's VC, which is probably
actually all right. If we're gonna go and talk about DeFi,
let's go. Pull it up. Pull up my screen.
All right.
Does it have audio?
Yeah, I think I can share audio, right?
No, I hope this is not what I think it is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it definitely is.
I don't know.
Whoa.
The cat. They go,
Oh yeah.
That is literally Adam.
I mean,
Adam doesn't get out of bed unless there's a token raise and there's 100x. He doesn't get out of bed. He doesn't even wake up. See, so I saw this stuff from Based Money. This one was super buys entire token supply. Wait, go back.
Hold on, I'm pulling up Based Money.
Right, so buys entire token supply. That's definitely him. Farms every NFT. Definitely him. Apes into every yield farm. What the fuck is Etherscan? Doesn't even care. So swap God tier trader. Done.
Okay.
Wait, there's a song.
Yeah, you have to share your audio as a little checkbox when you share your stream.
Damn it.
Oh, okay. Let me stop and reshare. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the song kind of brings it all together.
Yeah, because then you go full Chad,
Yeah, I mean, I'm also just trying to be considerate as well as some YouTube algorithms for certain songs. So just keep that in mind.
No, I think it's OC.
That song.
All right.
Wait. I didn't do it right.
Oh, you didn't check the box. You got to check the box.
Well, it's weird. It takes you 3 different screens. So there's a box check on audio. Is that right?
Yeah, at the bottom when you share your screen.
Well, let me break out my glasses and
See,
look
I
at
think
it.
I think I think this is
No,
like
somebody else
a
do
new
it.
show. This is a new show
somebody else
that
do
me
it.
and Adam are going to be doing. We're just going
It
to be
says share
reacting
audio
to
when you-
ridiculous DeFi
when you open
projects.
the-
It doesn't let me. It's not letting me follow these steps. Okay, it says
Click share screen, and then share audio.
Chrome tab, share
Okay.
screen, share audio. Got it.
Yeah.
This is why it's live, right?
We're doing it live. Like if anyone has anything to say about that, then they don't get to see the crab meat that is about to.
Yeah, I mean, we had a solid 2 days, 12 hours.
They took off the song. They
might
took off the
take
song.
down. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh no, it's
No, there's a checkbox.
Yeah.
So you can like pump it.
We're really building the excitement for this song.
Yeah, this is some hype here.
It's not
yeah.
letting me do the. It's not letting me do the sound. I don't think. If you
Okay.
want to play it, you can. But
Yeah.
can you guys hear it?
No.
Doesn't matter.
No.
It's popping.
Anyways, if you go there and then you play that song, it's literally this community. So let's just go into this community because it's a very interesting one in general. First of all,
It's interesting.
listen, these meme coins, as you would go down, right?
Oh, go based real quick
Meme
while you're
coins are
talking.
really no joke.
Okay.
There's Dogecoin, which has been around for ages now, and then
Dogecoin. Yeah, Doge is probably a good example, Harris.
Oh, this is
Like-
based AF right now. Look at
This
this.
is, yeah.
I mean, yeah, as you can see here, I'm getting the urge to want to invest in this, and I have no idea what it is, and I can't read.
It's really all about that peach, you know? That peach.
I noticed a lot of like 80s, like retro, usually with a lot of these.
It's like a Miami Vice feel, honestly.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
like where that is.
What's that called?
Synthwave.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Wave,
Not to be.
I
not
don't
to
even
be.
think this isn't a really synth. This is like a mild.
not
It's not. It's not
It's like
vapor.
vaporwave.
It's
No,
almost vaporwave.
Well, it could be vaporwave.
It's
you know.
almost vaporwave.
It's close.
You got the
All right.
Tesla truck.
Vaporwave is trending now, especially
Okay.
with everything.
Okay,
Oh
So
my
anyways,
God,
let's-
vaporwave.
let's go back.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this? Well, it
Well,
seems like ever since
Vaporwave's a
the ad.
meme. you know?
No. I'm saying for the audience. I'm saying, why are we talking about this? Why is it important?
Why is it relevant?
Yes.
Because
Okay,
machine go
so-
burr.
Yeah, Money Machine Go Burr. There's about 1.5 million projects. I think Sushi Swap was the one that really just forced everything into a huge into this huge space where you have pickle finance, all these grocery things, and then people start getting a little bit more creative. They're like, how far can we go with it? And they started implementing different types of functions, things like Ample's rebase, in the case of Base Money, or in Chad's VC, like a transfer or liquidity movement burn. So as you pull out, you're incentivized to stay in. Now, there are applications for this probably in the future, right?
Yeah.
But there's just like all this like serotonin and game like feel to it. So another things that they did here was if you held for certain amounts of times, you were issued Chadlets. And this is really interesting. So let's go to OpenSea. Let's see if we can find a Chadlet.
I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah, there's the Chadlets.
So here, and for those that don't understand the principles of, I guess, DeFi and yield farm, we're getting to that in a second. But Eric's done a lot of streams on it. Basically, when you go to Uniswap, which is why all this is possible. Well, yeah, I mean, this is DeFi in itself as well. They're using an automated market maker, and I have it up here. So we've come from, IDEX, the maker taker model, buy, sell, whatever.
Yep.
And then we're moving into a like trade execution. Who's up here? Who's down here?
Sure.
People are providing liquidity, these tokens. They're putting equal amounts of ETH and equal amounts of this other coin up on Uniswap, and it uses kind of a algorithmic pricing function to determine the price at any given time. So meaning
An automated market maker.
as less and less of the coin exists, the price is going up in the case of Uniswap, and as more and more of the coin exists, the price is going down within this curve. So if you have 100, coins of 1 ETH, and then, you buy one of these coins and say it was 0.1 ETH cost, it'd be 0.99. And then, the price would incrementally go up. So there's now 99 coins and 0.99 ETH. you're trading in, or actually the other way around. You put one more ETH in, and be 99 coins and 1.01 ETH, right? So basically what this amounts to is you have instantaneous liquidity and in your trades, meaning you're guaranteed to have a trade. Now there's other things about this, and this is where Rug and a lot of these other things come into play. So there's this thing called
Rug. That's a good one.
Rug.money.
Yeah, don't ask when Moon.
Yeah.
And we're talking. Oh, they got rid of it.
See, they pulled the rug.
They got rid of it.
Pulled the rug.
Okay, so these things pop up. Listen, we're gonna keep saying
doing
this.
a good sell on this.
Literally an objective look at the DeFi space. This is not. I'm not saying purchase anything.
Well, you can't now. The
yeah, they pulled the rug.
I understand.
But
I'm saying
in this space,
we're going to get into the concepts behind what to look out for, what's interesting, what's not. So